Commission new headquarters building. I'm Ed Harrington, the general manager of the PUC, and I'm so happy to be here today where we are going to bring together a new building for the PUC, saving ratepayers money over time, and also contributing to the green movement and sustainable movement in the United States. It's a wonderful place to be. I'll be introducing a number of folks as we go through this afternoon, but I wanted to start with introducing my commissioners, the PUC commissioners. FX Crowley is the president of the PUC Commission. The vice president is Francesca Vitor, and Andy Moran is also here today. As I mentioned, this is one of those things where the PUC has dreamed about a new headquarters building for I don't know how many years, either buying one or building one, but it was always sitting out there because we have over 800 people in different parts of San Francisco renting space. And that's not a good thing for our ratepayers ultimately. So we wanted to make those folks all come together. It's better for us for working. It saves our ratepayers money. And we also said we're one of the leaders now in green technology and water and energy conservation, and we should showcase that in our new headquarters building. And this building will give us the chance to do all of those things all in one place. One of the proponents of this building since day one, who is very excited to be here, is Mayor Gavin Newsom. I'll turn it over.
Thank you all for being here. Those are all the ones getting jobs that are applauding. And I guess that's really the spirit of this announcement, is the creation of literally hundreds and hundreds of jobs over the course of the next number of years because of this kickoff of sorts on this project. This is a project that, as Ed said, is well over a decade in the making. In fact, you could say quite formally about 9 years in the making since we acquired the site from the state. We took an old dilapidated building that was identified as such after the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake, when candidly this process really informally began, and we decided to mark a process to consider design and orienting this building, but we never had the money and we never had a framework to actually get the financing until about 2 years ago, when we were at a point of absolute frustration. A lot of money had been spent on design. I was looking back and joking at some of my old files at the various incarnations, ugly, uglier, less ugly, fabulous, and unbelievably expensive, never going to happen designs. But nonetheless, we found some middle ground in one of the areas that I think was most important not to argue away, or rather, I guess, value engineer away in the language of our time, was some of the green components that Ed just spoke of. It is appropriate when you have a Public Utilities Commission that really is a leader in terms of water conservation, as Ed was saying, is a leader in terms of environmental stewardship, that's in the process of becoming a steward in a broader sense of the entire Hetchatchee system, a $4.4 billion regional upgrade, that we would have a headquarters that represented those values, not just figuratively, but literally and substantively. Two of the components that are probably most exciting, I think it's why you see this modest wind component that will be hardly modest when it is incorporated in a larger scale into this building, is some of these innovative building construction strategies around incorporating not just traditional photovoltaics and not traditional strategies for wastewater and gray water retention and recycling and the like, but also taking advantage of new technology around wind and wind turbines. This may not generate as much energy as I think it generates interest, and let's be candid about that. It's as much a demonstration of the future as it is the actualization of the same, but it's important, and there'll be two big wind components on this project site that I think will truly get a lot of people excited and motivated and interested in doing similar things, even at their own residential homes or in any new construction and commercial and industrial projects in the city's future. So that's a component that I'm very enthusiastic about. It's a $170 million project. It's going to be financed with one of the lowest, 4.17%. Look how proud they are. These only bond people can even appreciate this. But 30-year fixed, 4.17%, which is saving us a ton of money that we didn't actually budget as savings, so that we are now absolutely confident that we can meet our commitment in terms of the overall project cost. That being said, it gives Webcor no You got my point. Doesn't mean they can go over budget. It doesn't mean they can add a few change orders through the process. And I'm confident with the outstanding leadership of WebCorp and Andy, who's here, that that indeed will not happen. 2012, they can't get it done any sooner. But 2012, this project will be done. 1,000 employees will come here on site. And finally, this is part of, it's for me an anchor project to this larger civic center effort where we're working with the Clinton Foundation to incorporate some of the latest technologies in terms of environmental sustainability and creating a system. And I guess that's the point. Not just projects in isolation, but a system that connects our city projects with state and federal buildings. And so this is a really big part of that promise that we made a year or so ago. 600 permanent jobs, 1,300 advertised, arguably, and you'll talk more about this, a few thousand. Mike Terrio here from the Building and Construction Trades, I think he can appreciate as much or more than anybody else the importance of this project. Mike was in with my friends in construction trades saying, what's the latest on this, for about 3 years. Here we are finally, and real folks being put to work, and that's a wonderful thing. And that's, again, I think the real excitement and enthusiasm that brings us here today is the jobs that are being created here today. Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for your support. Sometimes you hear things about the best, most efficient, all that kind of stuff. To give you a few examples as we go through today, example number one, the energy use in this building compared to a building that's a normal Class A building of this size in San Francisco, we'll be saving 2.1 million kilowatt hours a year. That's the equivalent of all the power used in half the fire stations in San Francisco. Will be saved in this one building versus a regularly built building like this. And one reason we're able to do that is because of WebCorp is one of our partners doing this. With us today is Andy Ball and also Matt Rossi, who's the project director. Mr. Ball.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are so excited to be here today at this point in time in this hole, because I love holes, particularly when we're going to pour some concrete and put in foundations and go up. I want to recognize the team, Jess Peterson and Matt Rossi, who put in so much time and effort in working this number down. I think we've already saved through value engineering about $40 million since we got involved in this project. So, Mr. Mayor, we're already working to save the city money. And as far as the completion date, we go back to Lucas Arts in Golden Gate Park, where the mayor bet me $1, one whole dollar, and who won?
You got it. I'm doubling up, though.
Okay. Well, I have that dollar on my wall in a picture frame, and he lost that one, and I intend for him to lose another, because we're going to beat the schedule we have out here. It's very exciting to work with the PUC on this wonderful building. There's so incredible features, not just the micro windmill that you see here, which a lot of people thought was the model of the building. They said, what a great looking building. Who's the architect? And he'll be up next. No, it's not the building. It's a micro wind turbine, one of many features, photovoltaic panels. We have a concrete frame with vertical post tensioning. There is a wastewater treatment, rainwater capture, utilizing gray water for flushing the toilets. So there's a lot of great features in this building. I'm wearing my penguin tie today, commemorating the California Academy of Sciences, which we finished 2 years ago in partnership with the city, with the labor unions who were so supportive in this project, with the Department of Public Works, who we just love working with. Ed Riskin is here, and Edgar is in the audience. Wonderful partners. We're very excited to repeat the success that we had 2 years ago when we did that project. It was a LEED Platinum. This is going to be a LEED Platinum. It's going to be even better, and it's going to be a monument not only for San Francisco, but for the entire United States as an example of what government buildings should be and how much energy can be saved. Thank you for making us part of this.
All right.
Thank you, Andy. One of the partners that has been here the longest on this project are the architects. They started working on this many, many years ago as it's gone through the different iterations. Today we have David Hofstetter, who's the principal director of KMD Architects, and with him are Ryan Stevens and Michael Rosetta, who are project architects on this. David.
We'll have
after 9 years, you would think I wouldn't have to put up with the abuse about what this building looks like. But it's, yeah, I have to pinch myself. It's, this has been a good chunk of my life devoted to this building, and I'd like to acknowledge a couple people. Edgar Lopez, who's been with me representing DPW. Brooke Mabratu is working as a project manager right now with their team. Michael Rossetto, the project architect. And we've got Tom Turkington back there, our PA, and Ryan Stevens, the lead designer. Our partner architecture firm is Miles Stevens back there. So thank you all for all the work that you've done over these many years. Now, this building didn't start out exactly like this. We started out with what we felt was a beautiful building, but it wasn't a building that was really trying to change the world. And with the PUC, the building has been ramped up to a goal of being the greenest urban building in the United States. And I'd like to remind everybody that that is the goal of this project, is to create a platform for new sustainable design and a demonstration to the country that San Francisco is at the cutting edge of sustainability. And with WebCore, I think we will achieve that day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David. One of the ways we'll be doing that, again, is that an average building, the use in that building is about 12 gallons of water per day per resident in that building. This building will be using 5 gallons a day per person who's in the building, and that's because we're going to be taking tap water, recycling it on site, using it for toilets. We'll be having low-flow toilets, we'll be having waterless urinals, all the things you should be doing in buildings today, and will be the way that the future is as we design this building. One of our partners in doing all of this, and without this group we wouldn't be here at all, are the labor people in San Francisco. And with us today is Mike Terriot, who is the Secretary-Treasurer of the San Francisco Labor Council.
Tim Paulson, who is the Secretary-Treasurer of the Labor Council, would not appreciate that. Building and Construction Trades Council. The long gestation of this project, well, a project so long in this gestation as this one, you would think it would not be timely arriving in a moment like this, but no project could be timelier. Right now, the trades are facing their highest unemployment, certainly that I know of, since the 1970s and perhaps since the Great Depression. And a project like this, well, the big infrastructure projects like Doyle Drive will put some of the trades back to work, and particularly the basic crafts. But there is no carpet that's going to be laid on Doyle Drive. There are no waterless urinals are going to be installed at Doyle Drive. No high-volume air conditioning systems. Nothing of the sort. No roofing will be laid down on Doyle Drive. A project like this will put trades back to work that otherwise would be close to starving in the current economic climate and the absolute crash of private sector construction we've seen recently. So this project really could not be timelier in that regard. And followed by General Hospital, for which we'll have a groundbreaking right away. It will be absolutely critical to the trades in San Francisco. But it's timely in another way as well, and that is both local government here, city government, and the federal government have talked about the future of work in this country being closely tied to green jobs. And the building trades are among those occupations that are most heavily involved in green jobs. And the Public Utilities Commission in San Francisco should be the organization in San Francisco central to the great majority of green jobs in the city. And it's absolutely appropriate that that organization, the Public Utilities Commission, should lead not just by mandate, but by example, which it will be doing through this building. So we want to thank the city, we want to thank the mayor, we want to thank the board, we want to thank the commission, and we want to thank WebCore for its persistence and patience in this, on getting this project out of the ground. And I want to acknowledge Tim over there with the operating engineers who helped the mayor with the first scoop, my brother in the building trades. Thank you.
Speaking of thanking folks, there are a number of people here who are from the Public Utilities Commission and the City of San Francisco. I'd like to recognize them. Michael Carlin, Deputy General Manager of the PUC, Carlin Kelly in charge of our infrastructure group, Todd Riedstrom, who's in charge of our finance group, and somewhere in back of Todd, Nadia Sisse, who worked very closely with us on the financing of this building from the City Controller's Office, Barbara Hale, Assistant GM for Power, Tommy Moala, who is our Assistant General Manager for Wastewater, Laura Spangen, External Affairs AGM at the PUC, and Shelby Campbell, who just joined us, but Shelby is our new key person who's our project director on this project for us. We keep talking about this thing over here. And I should mention that this is from Dominika Aplova and Oliver Shasum, who are with Blue Green Pacific wind turbine manufacturers, and they're in the Bayview district of San Francisco, and we hope to be using their wind turbines on this project, and so we wanted them to be here today and their wind turbine, so you can take a look at it and talk to them if you'd like to. The last speaker today is our other partner in the city, and that is Ed Riskin from the Department of Public Works, in San Francisco, and he is also joined by Edgar Lopez and Brooke Marbato from his office.
Thanks, Ed. We're really excited and honored to be working with our partner, the PUC, on this project. The Department of Public Works has been delivering capital projects to the people of San Francisco for over 100 years, from small tenant improvements to large projects such as the Academy of Sciences, the renovation of City Hall. We're particularly excited about this one because, first of all, we've been involved with this project since pretty much day one, 9 years ago. And getting the design moving, getting the environmental clearance through. But we're also excited because it's such a building that fits so well with the mission of the PUC, and it really will be an exemplary building far beyond the borders of San Francisco. So we've got a great design team, a great construction team, we've got a great client, we've got great labor support, and we're certainly putting our A-team on this project. And though they've already been referenced a few times, Brooke Marbato is the lead project manager for this project. He's working with Janet Ng. He's supported by Edgar Lopez, head of project management, Fuad Suisse, our city engineer and deputy director. And it's their job, along with mine, to make sure that this project is delivered to meet the operational and environmental very high standards that the PUC has set, and to make sure it comes in on time and on budget, or I guess we're now hearing ahead of time and under budget. So that's our commitment to you. I want to thank the PUC Commission and the Mayor for their leadership to get us to this point. We're excited to hit the ground. Thank you.
Before we have the official ceremonial backhoe, are there any questions on this topic that you'd like to ask us today? We will be around and available for any kind of comments or questions anybody has.
And just one other factoid that I think is compelling. In a traditional building, you're paying a lot more in terms of the operation. In a building of this magnitude, LEED Platinum, we will be spending, and this is verifiable, over the course of its life, 75 years, $118 million less in terms of the operation of this building. That's why green buildings make economic sense. This is not just making an aesthetic point or making a point about the environment. It's also making, I think, a strong dollar argument, and it's exactly the direction we need to continue to go in. And the significance is, you know, we have a LEED certified requirement in San Francisco, not for public but also private buildings, but we've never done, as was stated, LEED Platinum for an urban commercial project of this type. And so that's what's very exciting, to complement the great work of WebCore at the Academy of Sciences. This will, I think, be an extraordinary anchor. This will be a model building for the rest of not just the state but the country, and so it's a very, very exciting project from that perspective as well. Shall we?
And joining the mayor will be Tim Freitas, or actually the mayor will be joining Tim Freitas from Local 3